Okay, so the purpose of this video is going to be to address this particular fault. This is this is on a 2006 Pontiac G6 GTP with the automatic climate control. This code B0408, temperature control circuit actuator stuck. Symptoms are that I can't control the temperature in the car. It only blows cold. Can't get any heat out of it. So if we go over to this, service information shows, well, actually, let's see here. It's calling it the air temperature actuator, right? And it is located apparently right behind the glove box. So that's what we're going to be going after. Yeah. Stay tuned. Okay, so you may wonder why this video is being done, because every other video on this subject for this car I found on YouTube is absolute trash. Very difficult to understand what the things that they're trying to replace are. What we are doing is looking for the temperature control actuator, and it is located back here somewhere behind the glove box. In order to get to it, I think there's about 8 or 9 7mm screws that need to be replaced or removed. There's a couple behind here, and then we will commence with that. First order of business, let's pop this side panel. Looks like the monkeys that were the previous owners of this car didn't even bother putting those screws back in. Okay, that's fine. Makes my job easier. So now, one thing that needs to be done here is to slide this out. Just like that. It's easy. Next, go after these. Perhaps there might be some other down here that also need to be taken out. We can see that, but there's another one here. I think that's it. All right, that should be all. Here, order of operations. So I would recommend you do these ones first. There's 3 bolts here. 3 bolts, take those off first. Then go after these ones, and whatever, you can take the side ones off whenever you want. And yes, now the part that we are looking at is that one right there. And that is the temperature actuator. All right, so unplug that like that. And then it looks like there's 3. What do we got? 3 bolts, and those are smaller. So, okay, well, it would appear that these are 5.5mm. Strange size, but there you go. And that one's going to need a ratchet. There's only 2 screws holding that together, apparently. There you go. You just pull straight out, and out it comes. All right, we have our generic no-name replacement part. I guess you just slot that into place. I do understand why all the other videos suck so bad. It's terrible access. Okay, bit of a pain trying to fit that thing in there, but it only really goes one way, and you get it. All right, that's in now. Reinstall our 2 5.5mm screws. That's it. Now we test. Hope it's got it. Okay, so part of our testing process for this is going to be to use our scan tool, which we plug in down here. Hold on, power this up. We'll go to vehicle control systems, and doing this, it'll give us all of our fault codes. It's just showing motor position, motor count. We cleared the fault code. See if it comes back. It doesn't tell us anything useful. So we get sensor data. Interesting. Okay. List. Okay. Let's see if there's any special functions. Temp door position. Let's try that. Okay. So we're at 77 counts. I can hear it moving. Okay. So obviously it does move. It's good. Let's try the other. Test the mode door. Okay, so that one moves. What else can we do here? Okay, and crank up the blower motor. Well, it would appear that all systems check out. Let's go to, what else can we do here? No, nothing in there. And that might have something to do with the tests we just did. I don't know, but we're going to clear these. Hopefully that's that, because I only had the 1 failure before, and that just showed me 2. All right. So right now we got none. Okay, so continuing on with the HVAC problem we were having, it was a code B0408 on this 2006 Pontiac G6. To rehash what we've done so far, change the temperature control actuator, blend door actuator, which is behind this panel here, and that did not fix the problem. The B0408 continues, which is, it doesn't actually tell you that that's a bad actuator. It says it's a jammed or stuck actuator. And that's exactly what I noticed when I took the actuator out, is that door does not move freely. It's physically stuck. Now, exploring the reasons why that might be stuck and what to do about it. To access the whole HVAC ducting where that blend door actually lives, it's deep, deep, deep inside this dash. Really, it would require complete disassembly and removal of the dash, almost back to the firewall, which is not going to happen. So the best solution that I can come up with, we're going to do a couple of things. This is sort of a combination, going to be a combination video. I may break it up, but basically this radio, I would like to remove this radio and replace it anyway, because I have replacement radio that has right here an auxiliary input. The later post 2007 radios came with an auxiliary input. The even later ones, 2009 and a half-ish, also had a USB port on them as well. The one that I managed to find in a pick and pull just had the auxiliary input, so we're going to replace this radio with the aux input because that's really all I want. There's other problems with going to the later one because this is also the digital information system for the rest of the car, the DIC. And in 2009 and a half, they moved the DIC from here right into the dash. So in order to use one of those later radios and maintain the DIC, you have to change the whole dash cluster, and I'm not getting into that. So again, what could have caused this? Well, I have a suspicion that the previous owner of this car, for whatever reason, broke this thing, this ducting. We'll call it the defrost duct. I think that what happened is they broke it and the pieces of it fell down into the HVAC ducting, and that is most likely what has jammed it. Now the problem is it's very deep and I can't get my hands in there to pull the pieces out. I don't know that I can get them from the top. I don't think I can. This piece is removable fairly easily. It's not that big a deal, and I have a replacement. But I need to unjam that door. So while we've got the radio out, the blend door is directly behind here. What I'm probably going to do is cut away some of the plastic, maybe drill a hole, stick a borescope camera in there and see what's jammed that door, see if I can see the pieces. I may end up having to cut open a hole in that ducting and fish those broken pieces out, or do whatever I need to do to unjam that door. And I think that's what we're going to do. That's where we're going with this. So stay tuned if you are interested in that. Okay, first step, as before, we pop the side panel off. Something underneath. Pry that side panel out. They're all 7mm. The other thing, you can lower that down like that. We got 3 screws, 1, 2, another one here somewhere, I think. Oh, right there. Once you got those out, then you can drop this down. This is all the access so that you can pull out this console piece. Not the console, but this piece, this bezel. Okay, you're gonna need a ratchet for that. That one probably needs a deep 7mm. That one may have to access from the bottom. All right, and then it's out. For this side, that should be all you need to do. Okay, up in there is where that actuator is right here. And so the next thing will be to take apart the other side, the driver's side, which is there's a few more things to do on that side before we can pull this piece off. All right, so the goal is to remove access to this so that this bezel can slide out. So we're going to have to pull that off of there, like so. And then we need to remove this panel here in order to get access to that end. We got one, another one. This panel right down there. Okay. Size. That is a different size. Probably 6, 5.5, maybe. That makes sense. Oh, I see. It's just probably will give. It's probably enough. Let's look here. Okay. All right. Well, with that bezel now removed, what can we see? We see a heater temperature sensor, something to do with the HVAC system. Can I see anything in there? I can't get my hand in there to do anything. No, we're gonna have to do some more exploring there. Anyways, since we're here anyway, let's proceed with replacing the radio, or removing the radio anyway. We'll have to take these HVAC screws out, and then the 4 of the radio. Huh. Interesting. Somebody's What have they done? Let's figure that out. Normally when you see stuff like this, it's because somebody's put an aftermarket radio in there. This is not aftermarket. This is stockish radio. Well, it is a stock radio. I don't know if it's the stock one to this car, but anyways. All right, so we're about to do some explorations. Use this borescope to go in here and have a look at the doors. Finally, what's going on. I see. One thing, I know this isn't ideal, but this is the blend door here. You can see the hinge point over there. Here's the hinge point. What I am seeing is this white thing there. Something's fallen in there. Appears like maybe that's another door, and it appears that it's fallen in there. And obviously it's going to jam the blend door and make that not able to actuate. So why that thing's fallen in there, I do not know, but obviously we're going to need to extract it somehow and maybe figure out where it goes and what to do with it. I don't know. But that seems to be the nature of the problem, is that this door, obviously when it tries to go this way, is going to jam up against that, and that's got to be what's going on. So something broken? Did it just fall out of place? It's hard to say, but I think that's what's going on. Now, how to fix it? That's the real question. My idea is that what's going on in there is in here somewhere. I'm thinking to cut this open, just make some incisions here and remove a fairly good-sized portion of that. And that'll give us some room to work, hopefully, figure out what we can do in there. Because as you can see, there's no way I'm getting my hand in here. And anything further, I think, would require some pretty hefty disassembly to go any deeper. That can't get at anything through here. There's just no way to anywhere else. All right, so after much consideration, what I've concluded is that there is no way to fish that actuator door of some sort that has fallen completely out of place and has jammed the other doors inside of here. But it's down far enough I can't reach anything in there, and there's no way to fish it out because there's this door in the way as well. It's just an absolute mess in there. So the only way that I can probably correct this by cutting into here and hopefully getting that stupid thing out of there. And to that end, we're going to use one of these. Hopefully not do too much destruction, but follow along. Be aware, in this area is your condenser or heater core. I'm not sure which one, but I think it's the condenser down in there. So don't get too crazy and medieval on that, but just be aware. There is stuff in there that you don't want to puncture. Now, as I feared, there is another layer here. So the problem is what I want access to is the other side of that second layer. That's what we're going to have to get to. Okay, continuing on. I think hopefully we can maybe get a look at what's going on in here. It's not easy to see there. Okay, in conclusion, I didn't show doing this because I wasn't able to do it, but what I was able to do was I had to cut out some of this. There's a divider in here. I had to cut this divider out. I was able to grab and put my hand down in there, and I was able to grab this thing out. This being some manner of door. I don't know from what. I guess we're going to see what. We'll try and figure out what doesn't work. But at least now, hopefully, we'll have some semblance of temperature control in the car because the other actuators are going to work now. But it's going to depend on what this thing was for. This is just like a defrost door, and then we may not have very good defrost in the winter. If it's more like a blend door, a heat blend door, then that could cause some real problems. The next step, really, there's no way to put this back in. The next stage, it really is just to pull the whole HVAC module out and go from there. I'll tell you what I did find, where that is here somewhere. You can see that right up there. You kind of see where that. Okay, so as you can see, yeah, we've dealt with that as good as we're going to deal with it. We have now installed that new radio with the auxiliary port. We're now going to go through powering it up and using the Tech 2 to marry it to this car, because I suspect, well, it won't work until we tell the car that we have a new radio in it. Auto. As you can see, the radio is locked, right? It is locked because it's not been learned to this car. So, should be easy enough to do. Okay, I've not done it on this car before. It shouldn't be that hard. So, we want to go using the Tech 2. It should be in this diagnostic part. Don't think we have to go to GM for this. Pontiac. This is a code. Should fall under body and accessories. Will fall under entertainment, special functions, radio. It's not in there. Should be in module setup. Relearn. There we go. Yes. Okay, all right. Well, it's as simple as that. We will now have auxiliary input and give that a test next. But that's all you have to do to install an auxiliary radio, an auxiliary capable radio into your G6 that doesn't have one. Basically, you're going to need either a Tech 2, which they're not that hard to find nowadays. You used to be able to get them on like AliExpress for pretty cheap, and you might even find some people trying to sell them nowadays on Marketplace and whatnot. They're not really of any use for anything post about 2010, so people do get rid of them. But any car before that, actually maybe 2012, any car before that, they're extremely useful for. So there you go. There's your Pontiac G6 auxiliary radio upgrade.